All right. First, like always, I just want to start by thanking my staff. The leadership group with Ian, Jeff King, and Trey Koziel, our pro staff who puts a lot of time in. They collect these grades and do evaluations all season long that leads up to free agency. Chris White, C. Love, and JJ Kosh. And then our tech and analytics group who did a fantastic job and continues to grow to help us make really sound decisions with historical information and trends and all of those things. And that's Krithy, Ryan, and Mike Santarelli. And then most importantly, during this phase, our CAP group was incredible with their research that led to what I thought was a pretty good free agency setup and negotiations. And that's Matt Feinstein, who took more of a leadership role this year in that with the negotiations. And then Cliff Stein, who's been here for a while and has been an unbelievable mentor for both of us so that we can handle this process really well and stay disciplined. And then our coaching staff, the synergy between the front office and the coaches continues to be really good. Staying on the same page that we're bringing in players that fit our scheme and help improve our roster so we can get better. Overall, just really excited. I thought we did some really good things. We got better as a football team. The goal going into this this offseason deal was to improve our roster now, but also stay flexible in the future so we can stay healthy, opportunistic, and continue to get better, because obviously we know this process takes some time to do it the right way, and I thought we set ourselves up nicely to do that. That kicked off with a trade that happened pretty early, and I do need to thank, the Panthers organization, Scott Fitter, David Tepper. That was a long process, a lot of twists and turns. But we got it done. I think both teams got what they wanted out of the deal, and we both continued to get better. With that, to add capital this year in the draft as well as the future and set ourselves up with 2 1s and 24, I couldn't be happier about that. But then when you add a player like DJ Moore, who can help us right now get better, continue to add weapons on our team, I was over the moon about that. And not only getting a great player, but when you get to know DJ here in a few minutes, you understand he's a really good person. He fits our culture and what we're trying to do and keeps that room and our team and our locker room in a really good place. With free agency, we stuck to our plan. And that's really to marry a fit for what we're trying to do here, our culture, our scheme, with value. And I thought we did a good job. And that led to some really good additions. And in terms of agreeing to terms with Tremaine Edmunds, I can't wait for you guys to see this guy. He's special, he's big, he's long, he fits our scheme. Pumped to have him again, another really good leader in our locker room and on our football team. TJ Edwards, awesome story, really good player, instinctive. Again, is going to help our defense get better. And how cool is it for a guy like that to come back to his hometown team and play? He is so fired up. He is so fired up to be on this squad, and he wanted to be here, which is really cool. DeMarcus Walker adds a big, tough, violent, heavy-handed guy that can play defensive end and kick inside and rush too, so we're pumped about that. Nate Davis bolsters our offensive line. Young guy that can get movement at the point and really good in pass protection. We should get better up front. Travis Homer, that's a guy I've loved since college. Really good special teams player, but when he has opportunities to run, he makes the most of it, and he's explosive, he's fast. You probably all saw him in the preseason game last year. And then P.J. Walker as well, a guy that really got the opportunity last year and did some good things. Fits what we're trying to do, so we're pumped about him. And then lastly, we're just excited to get Kari and Patrick Scales back on the team. Kari's a leader. He showed his leadership skills last year, and Patrick, same thing. He's been here for a while. He's done some great things. I can't wait to see him play the air guitar after big special teams play. So a lot of things going on, and we're excited. I think we're heading in the right direction.
We haven't talked to you since the trade. I'm just curious that your push for DJ and what you saw in him as a player that made that such a high priority for you.
Yeah, just a receiver that can create separation and make big plays. I think this league needs, this league shows you, good teams have guys that make big plays in big moments. That's finishing a game off in the fourth quarter, or if that's getting things kicked off in the beginning. DJ has those traits. and we're excited to have him.
Ryan, when you left the combine with Carolina, did they emerge as the front runner for that pick? Did you been in conversation with them like since you left Indy?
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations with different teams, but with Scott, we had conversations pretty early, and we stayed in communication, and he made it clear that he wanted to be a part of anything if we decided to move.
Hey, Ryan, anything as to why you guys came out of the chute going after linebackers? Like, what was the process?
Yeah, it's value. When you look at the board, we felt like, those two players were at the top of their positions. We felt like the skill set was going to help our team, and we decided to go there. It made sense. With everyone, I've talked about this a few times, we put them in values, and you put them on a board, and, I think you can get in trouble if you go, heavy with, the biggest need, and you fire away there, and you let really good players, walk away because you're too stuck on where you need to get players. These guys are really good and are at the top of their position.
Ryan, you mentioned twists and turns.
Yeah.
In negotiating the field. What would
Teams in and out, conversations where the compensation changed. I thought it was almost done one day, and then it went longer, and it pushed to 2 to 3 days. So it took a lot of patience, but I'm glad we got to where we
you
did.
mentioned the analytics and the historical look that you guys took.
Yeah.
What went into you being willing to go to 9? And how many first round picks or number 1 picks for you do you think there are on the board?
Yeah, originally during the combine, I thought there was, again, we don't really talk in rounds, you talk in values, and different rounds can be split up different ways. But really at the top, there's probably 6 or 7. So I think that's where, having DJ Moore part of the package really got us over the edge because we knew we were getting a top-end player included in that.
Does that include the 4 quarterbacks in your mind?
Yeah, yep.
So was DJ Moore the point where you thought to yourself, this deal's not going to get any better? Like, I'm trying to figure out why you didn't wait longer. Like, is that as good as you thought it was going to get? Like, the whole deal?
I did, and we had a lot of conversations about that. The noise around it was crazy compensation, but I think at some point, when you feel comfortable with what you're receiving, you pull the trigger. Sometimes you wait too long and things, move on. Trades are hard. When you're a part of them and they pop up and you're having those conversations, they're not comfortable conversations, especially when you're moving on from a player. So, the longer that you're talking about it and thinking about it, you can start to sway a little bit. So when we hit in a position where I was comfortable, we were good with it.
Was it tempting to wait?
What's that?
Tempted to wait, or was it? Okay,
Yeah,
this is the deal, I gotta
yeah,
get
because
right
you
now.
think like this could get even bigger, but I also think that's you get a little greedy, it can come back and get you too.
Where do you want to start out, Nate Davis? Where do you see him playing?
Yeah, so with the O-line, I'll stick to this. We're going to put the best front 5 up there, but I also think there's some flexibility in some conversations where Cody could work some center. He's got almost 4,000 snaps there, has some good seasons there. So we're going to move it around a little bit and see if we can get the best front 3 possible.
Ryan, when we talked to Matt Eberflus about Roquan last year, he said ball production was a key factor.
Yeah.
Edmonds' ball production on paper is not any better. So just curious,
Yeah.
how is Edmonds a better scheme fit for Matt's defense than Roquan was?
Yeah, the length, the speed, the coverage ability in terms of just the space that he covers, and Matt and his group think they can take him over the edge with some of the ball production.
Do you expect Edmonds to be more productive than Roquan was in this defense?
I'm not going to compare the two, but I think he can be very productive in this system.
A lot of the guys that you brought in are 24, 25. How much of an emphasis was getting guys that are that young?
Yeah, big emphasis. I think that's important in free agency is having a young team. It's a young man's game. Not that you can't play and be productive as an older player either, but it was important to me to stay young, fast, explosive, and a lot of these guys do that.
Ryan, how would you characterize?
You were with the Chiefs when you guys traded for Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
He was one of the premier free agents in this class. You guys need help on the offensive line. His number came in fairly reasonable. Why was that not in play for you guys or not a fit for you guys?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the specific player, but, the scheme match is a big deal there.
Hey, Ryan, back to the interior of the offensive line. Is it possible that there's an odd man out with Tevin Jenkins there and the addition that you just made, Cody Whitehair, or do you just Does everybody stay on that interior?
It's hard to say right now. It's going to be competitive. We've been in communication with a lot of them, and we're going to make that a competition. But I think we feel comfortable with the group that's there, that we're going to figure out the best interior group.
And as an extension to Jason's question, how would you characterize kind of the activity on the offensive tackle market and what this week has been like and where you go from here?
Yeah, I will stick to this. I mean, it comes down to value and where we felt comfortable. With our research, our evaluations, analytics, all of that, there was a certain point where we were comfortable with based on the value and the evaluation that we had. And if it surpassed that, we were okay with moving on.
How much better can you get on the defensive line between now and when you get the players here in the spring? You've got Walker, and
Right.
that's about it to a pretty thin unit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I know, it's right now. You get the sense of we gotta fix everything right now, and the opportunities are going to be limited. But I feel comfortable with between the rest of free agency. We're only 2 days into it, as well as in the draft, that we can get that group as good as we possibly can. And at the same time, there are going to be some weak spots on our roster that we can't fix everything, but we are going to stay flexible to do the best we can to get better. And then, again, if you go from a short-term thinking of we got to do everything right now, you extend that out and do things the right way, over time we'll be able to heal up all of those positions.
With those picks at the end of round 2, and you count 60, the first pick of round 3, you get 3 there.
Yep.
What's realistic to get there? Like, I'm sure you feel like you can get a really good player at 9. What's realistic with 3 picks there? Did 2 of them pan out? Like, or how do you look at it?
No, that's where we sit right now. There might be some things we can do to maybe move around. This draft, with the numbers that we counted right now, we got to get some of the physicals. There's a lot of work to be done still. But there's going to be good players in that range as well. So, as you know, I think from the first draft with me, we did a lot of movement back, but maybe there's some movement back and then going the other way too.
Ron, you were at the Carter Pro Day yesterday. What do you need to find out about him? And also, what did his incident do for the value of your draft, of your number 1, and kind of how far you
Yeah, we aren't really there yet. Like the combine, it's a collection of information. We got some there. We got more, at the pro day. We'll bring him in and talk to him and get to know him even better. And in some point in mid-April, we'll sit down and put it all on the table and see how we want to handle it.
Ryan, how have you viewed Braxton Jones, and throughout this evaluation process, as you go through your list of needs and what you need, where have you rated Braxton Jones and his performance last year and his potential going forward as your left tackle?
Yeah, for a young rookie from, Southern Utah to start and play every snap, I thought he did some really good things. We expect growth and development from him. He's working out, getting bigger, stronger. So right now, he's the starting left tackle. If we create competition and move guys around to see what the best 5 is, that's what we'll do.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ryan.